Hi everyone, how's it going? This is Olian, and we're gonna take a look at how to recreate one of those classic Moog bass sounds, which you know from guys like Kerri Chandler and stuff like that, old school house in general. And it's a very simple sound, so I guess it's a good exercise to kind of get started with synthesis. And if you're into that kind of music and want to kind of make that kind of music as well, then it's probably yeah, a good point to start. And I'm going to go over it kind of quickly because we want to focus mainly on the sound right here. And I'm not going to go over what an envelope is, filter, and this kind of stuff. This is just going to be a pretty short one and a short video and a kind of a teaser. And if you want to know more about synthesis and learn, feel free to make those kind of requests in the comment section and be like, okay, hey, I would want a more beginner video. I want to understand what envelopes are. I want to know more advanced techniques, this kind of stuff. Just let me know, because that way I get a bit inspired what to record next. Anyway, let's focus on this preset. Something that I should say up front is doesn't matter if you're not using Silent One, because you can do this in any subtractive synthesizer. So subtractive means you're working with filters, and if you're using a synthesizer, chances are it's subtractive, unless it's an FM synth and like operator or something like that. But just Google real quick what kind of synth your synthesizer is. You should know anyway, and then you're good to go. So the basic setup, let's just initialize this real quick. The basic setup is quite simple. You use a sawtooth wave as the basis of your building block, basically a bunch of frequencies together, and then you set up a filter. And the specific sound that you know from this Moog Bass sound comes from a falling filter, which starts out higher and then kind of filters out high frequencies, and a certain resonance setting that makes you hear the filter movement more. So in order to do that, we need this oscillator with a sawtooth wave, and we're going to leave it as it is. Then we're going to use a filter and run it through a filter, which filters out high frequencies. So kind of look like this. You can use call it a low pass filter or a high cut. It's the same. And so yeah, a sawtooth wave sounds like this if it's on its own, and if you start filtering it out, it sounds like this. So what we want to achieve is kind of giving it some resonance, which boosts the point where you cut the stuff off. Like if you see this point over here, it puts a little boost, almost like an EQ boost. So since there's focus on this point, you will be able to hear it more, and it kind of gives like a flow through the sound. So what we want to do is that when you press a key, we want the filter to go down like this. So obviously doing this with our mouse doesn't really make sense. So you use a modulation envelope for that. So what the modulation envelope does, it kind of, once you set the filter to a certain point, it moves the filter up to a certain point, and then it moves the filter down over time. And you kind of decide how much time that's supposed to be. Yeah, so we're going to use this modulation envelope and use it to shape the filter or move the filter. And we're going to do cutoff A, because this is filter A. And over here, that's the modulation depth. You will have to find out where that exactly is in your synthesizer. But if you don't know that, you should definitely do your homework and check that out. And you're just going to give it some modulation depth, which means this knob then decides how much or how high do you want to go up, or how high do you want to move the filter up before it starts falling down. And then this guy over here tells you how much time it takes to get up before it starts falling down, and we don't want any time because we want to have it start on the top. So we want the filter to start here and then fall down once we press a key. And the decay time now tells us how much time does it take us to fall down. So if you want to have it like quick and snappy, you can give it less time. If you want to have it slowly, give it a bit more time. And the release time, in this case, we're not going to go too deep into that, but just give it a bit of release and you're good to go for now. Yeah, let's check out the decay time a bit. slowly, quickly. More modulation depth. Maybe make it a bit louder. So now you hear this little pop at the end, which we get because we haven't set the amp envelope. So amp envelope is basically the amplification of the sound. And right now it's set to a gate, which means there's nothing going on in attack, decay, and release, and you just have the sustain level all the way up. But we want the sound to be kind of snappy in the same way as we have the modulation envelope set over here. So we're gonna give it a similar shape. So that's what we get. And then there are going to be some ways in your synthesizer to make this whole thing louder or a bit fatter by using a bit more voices and detuning stuff. Here you can give some drive. Yeah, so that's kind of the idea behind it. Then you can also make it fatter if you layer for example, layer a sine wave on the bottom. And that's already the basic approach. If you have any more questions, feel free to let me know. And if you have any other specific sounds or topics that you would want to see me cover, feel free to hit me up in the comments. And yeah, I'm going to be making one video a day. So sometimes I'm going over something real quick because I kind of have to get a video done. But in other cases, I'm actually going to take a lot more time and make some more interesting stuff. So feel free to stick around and subscribe or hit me up on Facebook, this kind of stuff. Yeah, thanks and have a good one.